What's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck here again. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So as you can see, the title of the video, there's a content creator here that has possible new video evidence that shows Charlie Kirk being shot in the back of the head, and there's some slight splatter, and then I guess it's being alleged that the exit wound would be from the left neck region. So I wanted to just kind of touch on this. I did leave a comment in his video. This is, I want to make sure I have his name right. This is Range Day Bro YouTube channel. This is, I think he stated that it's someone he knows that's in the Marines, or an expert really with being able to assess like different shots or different angles. Was able to kind of zoom in on the video and notice the blood spatter from the back of the head. So we're going to check this out. Before we get started, make sure you guys hit the like button and share the content and subscribe to the Lady Luck Club. I am trying to reach a goal of 30,000 supporters by September 30th. And I am so close. I'm almost there, about 3,000 good subs away. But if you guys can, just hit the like button and share the content and subscribe. And let's hit the goal. I reported on the original shooting, using a video that kind of broke down the anatomy of the blood vessels that were possibly severed when Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck area. And I think one of the questions that many people have is, we saw an entry wound but no exit wound. And so Range Day Bro here is presenting new video evidence that might be able to answer that question. So I have not been able to kind of see this on my own. I'm just kind of sharing, and then I'm going to pull up the anatomy of how that could be plausible. Even I think this is something that the FBI would want to definitely vet and substantiate themselves. I personally have been waiting for something along the lines of the autopsy report to be released, or at least, be available to FOIA if possible, just to see exactly what the exit and entry wounds were. It's my understanding that a post was done where they, the examiner, someone spoke with the medical examiner, and they basically said that the bullet ended up being lodged in the left shoulder area. So if anyone has a copy of it or is able to get any information regarding the autopsy, please email it to me at LadyLuckClubLLC@yahoo.com. I've been looking at this strictly from that, human anatomy stance, as well as the logistics of where the shooter could have been from the LC building. But this video is pointing towards a totally different shooter in a different building from behind where Charlie Kirk was sitting. So let's get to this. Make sure you guys show some love to Range Day Bro. Shout out to him. Let's do it.
Acquired proof that the FBI's official story is false, whether knowingly or unknowingly. We're going to have an entire monologue and talk about a lot of these things after I show you this. But if you take nothing else away from this video, you need to see this.
And in that video, you can see the same, what appears to be the bullet coming down, and it does line up with the actual gunshot itself.
So this video was created by a friend of mine who is a Marine. You'll see him here at the end. This is the angle he is showing the shot coming from, showing where Charlie was sitting, and the angle of the shot, which will correspond with this video here, which unfortunately we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there, and you'll see the exit wound corresponding after, split second after, as it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there's blood splatter coming out of the entry wound immediately after a shot. The first arc is kind of down, as if it's just gushing out from the entry wound. And then the second shot corresponds with when his head kind of snaps forward, that fluid then flips up in relation to that.
So in order for this bullet to come this way, it would have to land through not necessarily the back of the skull, but more so down in this area here to come out through this exit point. If that is the theory of what's being shown in this video. So the angle he just showed where the, I guess where the shooter would have to be. Let me go back. This is the angle it will have to come down in order for the exit to come out through the left side, where that would imply that it definitely hit the left common carotid. And then probably because the way the blood vessels are situated in the neck, the common carotid is deeper into the muscle tissue, and as opposed to the left jugular vein. So this trajectory would show not necessarily being hit from the back behind the head, but more so along the side. And then, it's my understanding it was a camera right behind him. So where's that camera footage? Because that would answer a lot of questions about this, and it probably would corroborate this theory here when there was a camera directly behind him.
The actual gunshot itself.
So you're not coming gang violence. Great.
So this video was created by a friend of mine who is a Marine. You'll see him here at the end.
This is what, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of where people were standing. And it would have had to come from this building down this angle. So my question would be, why is it that none of the people that were seated in this area turned to their left to look to follow the sound of the shot, unless it was a silencer on it? And I'm not a gun expert or anything like that. He's saying a friend of his who was a Marine, was able to pull this video together. So of course, my question will be, what camera did this come from? What's the name of this building? And I'm sure that there are cameras on the building itself that may even be in the hallway area. So now you would have to find camera footage that would follow someone who's possibly situated in this area using the surveillance cameras. If this is a plausible theory. Because I think the biggest question was, where's the exit wound? But this here, if it was only one shot and one bullet. So if this be the case, then the shot itself would have been loud enough for the people standing around here to look to their left, not to their right, where the LC building was. Because it would have been like kind of right in their, ear. It would have been a closest, that sound would have been a lot more audible to the people sitting here. I'm just, I'm asking the same questions I think many people have, the questions too. And even the more, why was that video camera taken down that was situated under the canopy right behind Charlie Kirk? That's insane. And they couldn't control the crime scene itself because of the event, and because it was so many people, kind of running around scattered. It's very difficult to contain a crime scene unit like that when you have, this type of event going on where you have hundreds, maybe thousands of people out there. And mind you, the natural reaction for a flight or fight response is going to be, let's run. We just heard a gunshot. And then they see someone go down and ends up, being a hit after one bullet. So there would have been no way to contain that crime scene unit that quickly when you have so many people there. And I know that's one thing, I've seen a lot of comments and commentators talk about. You got to think about the realistic scenario here. how would the police know to just contain that area that quickly? It all happened so fast. So what should have happened was, instead of them trying to focus on arresting, they had a suspect that didn't even look like he could do something like that. And because that took away so much time that they should have been using to actually, locate the shooter and not jump to conclusions, really. They would have at least been able to contain the crime scene area. They didn't even do that. So the moment that people started scattering around, you have people taking down cameras, people probably running over casings and all of that. It already tainted the crime scene area. So it's kind of unrealistic to expect the crime scene area to be contained immediately after something like this, where you had so many people around.
The angle he is showing the shot coming from, showing where Charlie was sitting, and the angle of the shot, which will correspond with this video here, which unfortunately we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there, and you'll see the exit wound corresponding after, split second after, as it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there's blood splatter.
I see a little splatter, but I don't see a bullet coming in. And I slowed this down. Let me slow it down a little bit more to 0.25 speed. Okay.
Will correspond with this video here, which unfortunately we will blur.
Okay, is that it I just saw? I mean, it's real quick.
His face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there. And
I just see splatter.
You'll see the exit wound corresponding after split second after.
I'm trying to freeze it to where I can see. It should still look like a little black dot or something.
As it would.
Is that it? Is that the splatter or the bullet? I'm trying to see like exact moment when the bullet comes into frame.
From an entry and exit wound. So in this footage,
I just see splatter. I'm not seeing the bullet itself.
You can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there's blood splatter.
Is that the splatter? I just don't see the weapon, the bullet coming into view.
Blood splatter.
Yeah, I just see splatter.
coming out of the entry wound.
Is that the bullet? I mean, I see a faint something fly through, but
Immediately after shot.
is that it?
The first arc is kind of down, as if it's just gushing out from the entry wound. And then the second shot corresponds with when his head kind of snaps forward.
Okay, I'm just seeing a splatter. I'm not seeing any blemish of the bullet coming into view. And depending on the size of the bullet, let's say the same gun and the same bullet was used by this second alleged shooter, right? The splatter itself should be much more prominent because of the size of the bullet and the energy of the bullet as it enters into the back of the head or the side of the head here. There would be a little bit there would be a lot more splatter actually. The splatter has to match the size of the object that's creating the hole itself. So unless you're talking about a smaller bullet that will make a smaller hole, the bullet that was used allegedly from the Mauser gun, that bullet is huge. It's large enough to take out an actual huge animal. So I would expect the splatter and the backlash from that size bullet going into any part of the head to be much larger than the little splatter that I just saw. And I still don't see the bullet coming into view. Maybe someone can enhance this and get a clear, video or photo or something.
That fluid then flips up in relation to that motion, so you can see there's that second splatter flipping up into the air. This is something that I hadn't seen to this date. I saw this for the first time late in the evening yesterday, and I decided that this needed to be put out immediately because no one that I know of is talking about this. So big shout out to my friend who actually found this and created this video. You'll see him here in just a moment, but let's just one more time look at this shot. You see bullet comes in that circled area. You have the blood splatter go down, then up, and then immediately after, you see the exit right here with the skin being pierced, and then the exit wound emerges. And again, that is not a far distance for a bullet to travel.
So the theory with this, the bullet would have had to actually exit out of the body and land in front of him. So where were the bullet casings picked up at? And this is, it is problematic that they could not think quick, the police could not think quicker to contain the crime scene, but because of what was going on, that's highly unlikely in this type of scenario. But I would at least expect the bullet to be or to have at least landed in front of him. And there were people standing there. He had people that were very, very close to him underneath the tent. So if any of those individuals, were able to see exactly what happened, they would have been able to see that bullet come out and land in front of him from the exit wound on the neck. And the people that were standing in the vicinity over here would have definitely heard this shot over here, unless this shooter used a silencer of some sort with a smaller bullet. And then what does the autopsy say? Like the autopsy would have to corroborate this. The autopsy report would have to corroborate this entry and exit wound from the what looks like the somewhat side of the right side of the head where the trajectory goes through and it comes out from the left side of the neck where you saw the bullet come out, and that bullet looked huge. So I just, you know, maybe it's just me. I just want to see a more clear version, perhaps a video that is extraordinarily slowed down with the playback speed being like point two or something like that, and you can see the bullet come into view. That would be helpful. But I want to get to the next video here. If this be the new theory, okay, then that means from where he was hit, because I like to pull up the science in this. And this is from Anatomy App YouTube channel. So what you're seeing is the face here, the front face here. So if this was Charlie, this would be the front face, him facing outward this way. You got the heart, you have that aorta that goes up and it branches off. This is the left common carotid, and it branches off into two major blood vessels, one that goes to the brain and the other that goes to the face. And then you have that internal jugular vein right here. So what he's saying is this bullet came from this area and shot through out of the neck and severed. It would have definitely hit the carotid and jugular blood vessels here. And it came out this way, but the autopsy said that it was lodged in the shoulder. So if let's say the first shooter theory is what it is, then it would have entered this way and probably been lodged somewhere in the back of the shoulder area. But the entry wound was here, or there's a wound here on the neck. So in order for it to be lodged in the shoulder, it would have had to be stuck kind of like in the back area of the shoulder here in the muscle tissue, because it would have been directly flowed through here, would have penetrated here where the carotid artery, the left common carotid, and the internal jugular is here, and just kind of lodged into the muscle tissue right here in this area of the shoulder. Now, if that is on the autopsy and the bullet was found in the shoulder area, more than likely it was here. That's what I would expect to see, just based on the physics and the anatomy of this. The second theory is it came from this side. He's saying the back more so. So this is Charlie facing the audience this way. And he's saying that it came through downward and came out where the left common carotid and the internal jugular is sitting. I want to make sure I, have this rotated to where you guys can see it and make sense. So he's saying this came in from the back of the head here and would have had to travel down. I don't think it was up that high, to be honest with you. I mean, this is still like more so between C1 and C3 of the vertebra in the neck area. I think it would have came down like that and then out. That's the only plausible way. But then if the bullet was lodged in the shoulder, I mean, we saw it leave, make a hole out of his neck. So how did the bullet get lodged in the shoulder area? So somebody need to be straighten this up. There's some conflicting, and I'm using science here for a reason, because I don't like theories. I like I like to present information based on some fundamental fact or basis of science when it comes to something like this. So this bullet coming in this way, coming downward through the spine out this area here would be plausible, but it just conflicts with what's on the autopsy report as far as as far as the bullet being in the shoulder area. And this is a second video. These are little quick YouTube shorts. So it would have had to come this way out. Because unless it, got stuck in the front area of the shoulder, but then we saw the bullet in that video make a hole in the neck here. So I just, I'm just a bit confused, y'all. And this is how I try to look at things from a different perspective that helps me to understand it. And just looking at the human anatomy and the science behind this, because it's the only way where it's going to make sense to me personally. So that's the only plausible theory I could think of as far as this bullet coming down. This is the eyes and nose area, so he's facing outward, and that bullet coming through and out, hitting the common carotid and the internal jugular. That's the only way it makes sense to me, because we saw it come out or in from the neck. That means that bullet would have had to land in front of him, practically on his lap, from where he was sitting. So that bullet trajectory from this video he just showed, boom, coming out like that, and then coming out with a hole in this area here, straight out that way. So not necessarily in the back, but more so on the side of the head here, and just boom, straight downward because gravity, and it comes out this way from the left side of the neck. That's what makes sense to me. But if anyone has any videos that were sitting that was sitting in that area where this second shooter is supposed to be, post the videos up so that this can make sense. If anyone knows how to slow down the video that he showed and clear it up a little bit, please do. You can email me the link. That way it just kind of makes sense, and we can see a little bit more clearly with the science of this. But that's all I have. I just wanted to check out this new video, and shout out to the content creator that posted that up, and to I think he said his friend is a Marine. So you guys make sure feel free to do your homework and do your research as well. I think it's easy to fall into all of the theories that's going around, but at least let your opinion be based on some fact or evidence or documentation or science or physics or logistics or something. I'm not a weapons expert or anything, but I do have a bachelor's of science in biology pre-med. So me looking at this from a human and anatomical stance is kind of my go-to with when it comes to topics like this. It's the only way I can comprehend and understand this information where it makes sense to me. But either way, you guys make sure you hit the like button. I know that his wife is going through a lot. She's become the president of his company, and his children were there. So keep them in your prayers. And until the next one, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.